He died about a year later. Yeah.
Because they both said 54 up there.
Right.
Yeah, but I think it was almost a year after she died. He was 20 years older than her. That's right.
When you say you had your students write about couples, I wondered if you would have like a mother-daughter, or
Anything is considered a couple as long as they work together.
so it would be a relationship between two very close people of any description.
Right, of any description. And it could be, again, the questions are, do they influence each other's work, or do they avoid influencing each other's work? In the case of Pollack and Krasner, they constantly looked at each other's work. They did not critique each other's work. From what I've read, they had great respect for each other's work. So if you are invited into my studio, and you don't come in without being invited, and I ask you, what do you think? You say what you think. And if I don't ask, don't tell me. So they were smart enough to know that critical response, I mean, it's just a path you don't want to go down. And sometimes it works, but usually it does not. And again, I think she had the advantage in the beginning in particular of being the well-known artist. So she had the advantage of being able to say, I can invite you into my studio. And so that's the way that worked.
How about with the other couple?
With Frida and Kahlo, Frida Kahlo, gotta start calling her Kahlo. I don't think they did. She traveled with him when he would do the murals, but I don't think they were in and out of each other's studio. I think her world was a fairly quiet, small world. Because
She certainly admired him when she first met him.
Oh,
She was
absolutely.
just-
Absolutely. And again, remember, he was a very important artist, very important. And she certainly knew that. I mean, she was a teenager when she met him. He was 40 years old, you know. He had his career. He was, an important artist.
Well, wasn't there a foundation Big Krasner set up? Do you know anything
Yeah,
about that?
Pollack Krasner Foundation. They give funds to artists in financial need. And I think there's some part of it that has to do with health issues, that if you have financial need due to health issues, that there's money that comes from the Pollack Krasner.
Did she set that up?
I believe she did, yeah. She, a little bit that I didn't go into, the way she survived during the Depression and afterwards was when the WPA came along, she worked for the WPA. And she worked for them for a very long time, longer than I realized the WPA had existed. And so she finally got to the point where she was handing out assignments to other artists. And she was very politically involved. And she would go out and demonstrate because they threatened to cut off the funds. Gee, does that sound familiar? They threatened to cut off the funds. But in those days, the artists would picket. They get out there with their signs and picket. And it literally was a matter of starvation. I mean, literally, they had no money coming in, no money. And so what they were doing is they were decorating post offices. They were doing all sorts of things. And you could still find those works around, and it was keeping them literally alive, literally. But she worked for them for many, many years, and that's how she stayed afloat.
Pollack also worked for the WPA?
Yes, he did. He did. Not as long as she did, and I don't think he ever got into a position that she was in where she could hand out these assignments to different artists and things. Thank you. Thanks for coming.